Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Program's Ask Me Anything. It's good to have everybody here. My name is Jonathan Banks. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about earning more revenue by using merch. We're actually going to talk about the 5 reasons why you want to be selling merch at your restaurant, the types of revenue that can help you create, and then we're going to look at a couple examples of restaurants that are doing really well using merch. So we're going to dive into that. And let's start by talking about why the Restaurant Resiliency Project is here and what it's doing. Well, the Restaurant Resiliency Project is helping the city of St. Paul allocate resources to restaurants and other businesses, but to restaurants primarily to help support the businesses in the city. So we've developed an inclusive digital audit program which goes out and looks at how all the restaurants are using their websites and point of sale and really showing up online. And we find ways that we can help and deploy support to improve those parts of those businesses so folks can do better and we can have the wonderful city in St. Paul that we just love to have. So that's what the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Project is all about. Ask Me Anything. It's a webinar and technical support service. So you're watching the webinar right now, but also you can go to ncxt.co/rpama, and there you'll be able to submit a technical support request for the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Project to help your business. And if you're in the city of St. Paul, that is good and it works for you. Now, there's 5 reasons why you should start selling merch, and let's talk about that right now. The 5th reason is gift options. So let's start with number 5, gift options, right? When people go and visit your restaurant, we have patrons come in. Sometimes they're traveling, sometimes they're on the way to somewhere else. Sometimes they need to get a gift. And oftentimes a restaurant gift is an amazing gift to give. Not only do people kind of really appreciate the type of like unique aspect of getting a gift from maybe somebody's favorite restaurant or a restaurant that they frequent quite often, but it also is very convenient for the guests too, and it helps you earn some more revenue. So that's number 5. Number 4 reason you should be selling merch is it's memorabilia. So some restaurants, especially we have a few here in St. Paul that are really distinctive as far as they might be kind of the cultural ideal of the neighborhood. Maybe that's what people, when they think about a neighborhood, they think about the restaurants that are there. That restaurants are so much a part of our culture. That really happens quite a bit. And so this type of memorabilia can be like, hey, I went here, I visited this neighborhood, I went and I got this restaurant. Hey, look at me. And it can, give the person some notoriety, but also it can help them kind of remember the whole trip and experience they had that included your restaurant. It enhances the customer experience. It can take away a piece of their experience at your restaurant home. Maybe they want to have a cup of coffee in your coffee mug, and imagine that they're back at your restaurant. So, you can extend that customer experience all the way back to the person's home. Brand promotion, it's really great ways to get other people promoting your restaurant. Is if they're wearing your t-shirt, your hat, your backpack, whatever it might be, sticker on the laptop maybe is what they have. Those are pretty prevalent. It's a way for people to say, hey, I haven't heard of that restaurant, or I've been there, I love it too, and a way for them to connect and to be a brand ambassador. And we're going to come up to number 1. The number 1 reason why you want to be selling merch is additional revenue. Of course, it's additional revenue. You got to be trying to make some additional revenue, especially during these tough economic times, uncertain economic times. This additional revenue is really important, especially like if there is any reason like you can't have the restaurant open. We've had that happen because of, obviously COVID and the pandemic. But there's also been a lot of problems with, making sure that you have enough staff in the restaurant too. That can be an issue with having to close or slow down or have limited service, things of that nature. So having these added revenue streams, especially from merch, continues to be a really great way of making sure that you keep your business balanced from a revenue perspective. How big of an impact can it make? How much could you earn? Well, product merchandising is an effective engagement strategy and marketing strategy. Merchandise sales can comprise 20 to 50% of total sales. That's a quote from Cornell Hotel and Restaurant Administration quarterly. And so that's one thing that you all want to consider accounting for is, hey, this can be a huge part of your revenue, 20 to 50% of your total sales. So think about that from a revenue perspective and think about how that can help your restaurant. Who's doing it well? So we've looked at over 227 restaurants in the city. We found 12 restaurants that are doing merch really well, doing an excellent job promoting their merchandise on online forums and their digital spaces. We're going to look at Tiffany's Sports Lounge, Groundswell, and Dogwood Coffee and see how those folks are promoting merch on their websites. Hopefully you can grab a couple ideas that you might want to follow through with on your website too, so you can earn more selling merch. So let's start with Tiffany's. Tiffany's merch is right on their website, and so you can find it if you go to tiffanysportslounge.com. And I was looking around here and trying to find it at first, and it's actually down here. There's store down here at the bottom. Quite frankly, I'd like it to be up here in the top nav, but it's down at the bottom, and well, we found it. Here it is. So you go into the store, and they have 3 items for sale that you can get. They got their 50th anniversary beanie, they've got their zip-up hoodie, and they've got their crew neck sweatshirt. Now, these are higher priced items. $50 zip-up hoodie, $50 crew neck t-shirt. The beanies pretty accessible for most people. I think that's right in line. You may not be expecting to spend $50 when you go to Tiffany's for either of those other items, but the play on that and the reason why that price point can work is because this is kind of like memorabilia. It's kind of like a destination type of thing to show that, hey, I went to someplace special. And the notoriety and promotion of the name Tiffany's Lounge is something that we're really thinking about here as more novelty and kind of worth the extra, maybe some additional price, So that is Tiffany's. Go ahead and check them out. Like I said, I'd really like to see this merch up here. Have that store link up higher. That would be easier to find. But visit Tiffany's online. Visit Tiffany's at 2051 Ford Parkway in St. Paul. Go check them out. Let's talk about Groundswell. Here's Groundswell's website. We've worked with Groundswell in the past with the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Project, so we're happy that they continue to do well. They've got a greater variety of merch available here. And so there's lots of this that's about seeing the neighborhood, right? Snelling University, Hamlin, Groundswell printed all over, got stuff for babies, got great colors, got coffee cups and gift cards here, lots of things for people to purchase. They're up here with the $48 fleece. And so they're right around that $50 mark. It seems like that's where we're going for these sweaters and sweatshirts, t-shirts at $18. It'd be great to hear how they're doing with this merch and what's selling more for them. If you go back to Groundswell's website, groundswellmn.com, let's see how we got there. How did we find the merch at Groundswell? They have a shop online right here on top. And this is right where I really like to see it. Easy to find just with everything else that you're going to be clicking on. It's right there. So that's a great place to have it. Lastly, let's talk about Dogwood Coffee. So here's Dogwood Coffee. They have 3 locations, I believe three locations in the Twin Cities here, might have a 4th. And they've got a really great selection of merch as well. Great designs. These aren't, anything boring, very much on brand with the way that they like to put themselves out there, got their mascot. They're coming in at $60 for their crew neck. So they've got even a higher price on their crew neck. So thinking about the way that you want to price things, thinking about the types of designs that you're going to have, how that carries your brand around. we saw with the others that the Groundswell, for instance, was really promoting the Snelling area, Highland Park area. Here at Dogwood, we have the whole Twin Cities being promoted here. So for people traveling to the Twin Cities, maybe regional or national travelers, this would have a great appeal for them. Says Twin Cities right on it. It's a way for people to show that they've been to a really cool coffee shop in the Twin Cities. So we've reviewed 2 coffee shops and 1 sports bar. I think we see coffee shops and bars doing a lot more with merch than we see maybe your sit down fine dining quick service restaurants, doing merch there. Real focus on the food in those ways. But those 5 reasons we talked about, those all hold true no matter who you are. So you want to think about which angle is most appropriate for you. Stay connected with the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Project. You can go to ncxt.co/RRP. It'll bring you right here. It'll bring you to the Restaurant Resiliency Project. It'll allow you to learn about restaurant technology, digital capabilities index. You can submit your first Ask Me Anything request there. Come on over to the Ask Me Anything survey. Tell us if you like this webinar. And it's at ncxt.co/RP-survey. Tell us what you thought about it. You can leave us a note there. It was really great checking in with you all on the Ask Me Anything webinar. Once again, I'm Jonathan Banks. Today we talked about earning more revenue by selling merch. I hope we encouraged you all to do that and gave you some ideas to get started. If you want some assistance with that, go to ncxt.co/RRP-AMA to check that out. ncxt.co/RRP to check that out. We're powered by the City of St. Paul. It was great to be here with y'all. Have a great one. Bye.